Hello and welcome to this investigation on how it might be possible to draft the light-proof 1950s Jean Patou dress you can see next to me. This is one of those iconic designs. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has stumbled across it in Pinterest, so ooh, that's clever, and then didn't have enough time to do it. So I thought this is the time to actually investigate it and work out how it's drafted. So this is going to be a series of 3 videos. In this, the first one, I'm going to analyze it and do a little experiment to see whether I can work out how this might be drafted. In the next tutorial or video, I will show you how I'm actually going to draft it for a human figure. And in the last video, I'm going to show you the trial and see how it fits and whether my thinking process was correct or not. So do join me along with this journey, and of course if you make it, I would love to see it, so you can use this opportunity to make your own. And finally, before we dive in, if you love this way of working, if you're already sewing patterns, but now you really want to design your own and draft your own garments, and you love looking inspiration and then designing your own, then do join me for my free live design and draft challenge in March 2025. That's 3 live sessions where I do something similar, going through vintage inspiration, drafting my own, and then making a fit check. Only they're like in-depth 1-hour sessions where I do all this live on a full-scale garment I want to wear for myself, and I'm going to make it really beginner friendly but also interesting for people who want to expand their skills. And we're going to look at dart manipulation and volume. So this is great for summer dresses, summer tops, whatever you want to make. If it sounds like your thing, then do have a look in the description. I've put a link there for you. Now let's have a look at this Jean Patou blue dress. Let's start with the original image I first came across on Pinterest, and a lot of you might have seen as well. It's one of those dresses which just pop out at you. The color is quite dramatic, the pose, and of course the pattern cutting. The great thing about analyzing images like that, it really helps you go through your thought process. So what we have at first glance is a either dress or dress and top. It's got a classic sort of slightly wider crew neck. Then it's got these extended shoulders which seem to go across like this, like a yoke, which is sort of roughly about the bust. The bust is around here. Then we've got a center front seam going all the way down. We probably have a waist seam, although I'm not quite sure about that. Then it looks like we've got like a pleat here and a pleat here, and the whole dress is just quite a nice simple shape below the waist. However, above the waist it gets really interesting. What we have here, a little gathers around the bust, and that's of course of replacing the dart shaping. So instead of a dart shaping with around the bust, we've got little gathers or pleats and volume. And then what happens is that the front seems to become the back of the garment, and then the armhole looks like it comes out of here, but there's no visible armhole. Instead of it, the arm just disappears out of it. So I've drawn it like that, but it isn't actually like it. It's actually just we sort of gathers, like we sort of gathering or volume lines there, and then the arm just sort of comes out of an invisible armhole underneath the yoke. So it's a really intriguing pattern, which is where you sort of can use your pattern cutting skills to think about what is happening. The first thing I always do with stuff like that is have a look around Pinterest and search the pattern, do reverse image search, and see what I can come up with. And what I found is that it was a Vogue pattern, So this is a Jean Patou pattern, and you can see this one is a little bit different. This has got slightly more pleats here, it looks like, but otherwise it's identical. You can also see a really nice black version of it. I then also managed to find 2 black and white photos. This one, which looks a lot floppier and has a lot less wrinkles, but which way again you can really see how it goes sort of from the back to the front, and it's all one piece. And then finally I also found one more really nice image, which I think actually might be the original behind the Vogue pattern, where we actually added a button stand and some sort of nice top stitch here, so it becomes more like a blouse dress rather than a pure dress. So these are really nice variations, and they confirmed how this looked like. They had a very dropped shoulder, and that the armhole sort of comes underneath the yoke. You can really see it in this image. I think that was the best one, where you can see the front actually becomes the back. I went a little bit of searching for the pattern envelope, and sometimes it's worth doing this a few times, because the first time I did it nothing came up, and then the second time somebody was selling it, so I could see the back of it, and things like that really help you work out how it's done. So the back is actually really simple. So it's got the same shape like this. It's got a really nice button stand for closure to get in and out of the dress. And then interestingly, below the waist, which is why I think it has a waist seam, we have got just a center back waist with like an opening like this, maybe some hidden poppers or something, and then either some pleats or darts. And what's always great if you can get the back of a pattern envelope, it gives you a description of a garment, and what it says is that the yoke extends from the back to the front, and that it also becomes the front bodice. So the way it is described, it looks like the whole bodice is literally made out of 1 or 2 pattern pieces. And that's where I will now get some pieces of paper and try to figure it out a little bit. Let's try and work it out. This is how I would literally do this. So what I'm going to do is trace through my front yoke. I'm going to draw it a little bit straighter to make it easier just to copy it through. So I've got my center front here. What I now think, and this is of course then joins onto the back. So what I have to do is twist it around and lay it on to my high shoulder point. And then I've got my sort of back bodice like this. So this is my center back. And then I also want to do the same here. And at the moment I'm sort of just like roughly tracing it. Again, like this. And of course I'm disregarding things like yokes, gathers at the yoke and things like that. So this is now my, put it here. This is now my yoke and my back bodice, like this and like that. The question now is whether I've got a seam here or whether I've got another fold line, which would mean that I have a fold line from here joining onto there. So in this case what I have to do is lay it on again, and if it was a fold this would need to be completely straight drawing it out a little bit, because I've sort of drawn it how I traced it, how I aesthetically draw it rather than how it's actually properly drafted. I'm gonna start cutting this out. I've only cut off bits I know this basically definitely going to be finished, like the center back. So if I fold it over now, I should get a rough idea. So this is my back and this is my front. But I now of course want to know whether if I extend this at the side seam here forward, whether that would become the rest of my bodice. So what I have to do for now, I'm going to cut up to my center front and cut it like this to the yoke, because I know there's definitely a seam so where it's being folded in. So if I now fold it on my side seam upwards, yes, that is happening. And yes, I've got slightly not enough paper there. So I'm going to get a little bit of paper and then fold it over again. So I've now got enough space. What I'm now going to do is actually, as it's folded, cut off any excess I don't need. Like this. And then actually at the front, of course, can you see at the moment I've got the front overlapping, but of course what I want for it to happen is the yoke to go on top like that. And of course I've got a center front seam, haven't I? So what I actually going to do is, so I flip that way around where I've got the right length rather than too big an extension. So there we go, we've got our top. Let me actually move everything to the side so I can do it next to each other. So we've got this, we've got that, and we've got our little model. So what I'm now going to do is draw on here where it would be sort of gathered like that. So that's the blue part here. And that's the proper front. And then of course the last colour, yellow, is the sort of where the front becomes the back. Like this, and it sort of goes slightly underneath. Like that. So what I can now do, unfold it again. And cut it off here. And also cut it here. Cut it off here. And of course that's just experimenting, so that's giving me an idea of the pattern, but not a final pattern. What I've got, if I put my scissors inside, you can sort of see how it actually works. I've got the front of my dress with my center front seam, which is the blue. Then the same fabric becomes the back of the bodice. And when you can see the gaps here, I put my finger in, that's actually going to be my armholes. And if I lift it up, you can sort of see how it goes underneath and basically creates the self-facing. And then of course my yoke at the front, which should really be blue because it's the front, joins the back in one piece. So I'm going to do two colours here. And then if I undo it completely, so undo my center front seam, you end up in theory with a single piece of pattern. So that is where we can have fun. The proof in the pudding, as we say here in the UK, which is a colloquial way of saying will it work, is what happens at the moment. I'm working flat. I'm working with rough dimensions. The tricky bit will be applying it to the body in the 3D shape, because we're not having a completely straight line here, we're having a shoulder So I probably want it slightly curved, like you would have on a coat. I don't want this completely straight, in which case it probably won't sit that nicely. So the next step is to use this idea and see whether I can actually scale it up and turn it into a pattern for a human body. So I hope you enjoyed this analysis of this beautiful dress, and I would love to know from you in the comments, do you agree? What is your thought process? As I said, this is a start. I have lots of ideas already about how this is actually going to fit our curved body, and I do hope you will join me for the next video in a week's time to work out how it's actually drafted. And don't forget, if you want to join me for my live design and draft challenge, then do have a look in the description. And that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.